on deck. But coming to the stage right now, please welcome Jae Yoon.
Hi everyone, this is my second time on stage.
Yeah!
First one was at Marty's, and he was telling all these jokes about pedophiles, so I think I'm gonna go back. So, I was living with my parents for quite a while after graduating from college, and it got to a point where it was getting a little bit awkward. I felt kind of like I was the third wheel, except the other two weren't having sex. And at some point I just kind of wanted to get out, so I did. So I moved to LA, found an Airbnb, and I'm really like the poster boy for the digital economy. I find a place to live through Airbnb, I get my jobs on Craigslist, I buy all my shit from Amazon, and I get laid using Uber. Right? Like, people use Instagram for all the shit that it's not intended to do, so I mean, I thought, hey, why not just use Uber to get laid? And so I did 1,500 trips, and I got laid once. It really is a numbers game.
Was she good looking?
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh, okay.
She was also 60 years old. She showed me a picture of when she was 30, and so I just kind of fantasized to that. And so yeah, Uber stories. I've got a lot of them, but I'll save the... That's probably the best one, but there's another one. There's this... Actually, I'll go back to that if I have time later. So, obviously you can like look at me and people try to guess who I am, and I tell them I'm Asian. They're like, oh, what kind of Asian? And I'm like, Asian American, you racist asshole. But really, yeah. What I really am is, I'm actually from North Korea. And I'm actually a refugee from North Korea. And you guys can probably tell because the plastic surgeons in South Korea are actually really fucking good. And so, as you can tell, I got some Asian jokes. I came up with a dick joke about Asians having small dicks. And I was trying to make the punchline like against non-Asians, but I realized that I was like actually making fun of myself, so I just threw that one out. And so, you know those bumper stickers that you see on cars? That like one of them's like, oh, proud parent of an honor roll student. I got straight A's my whole life, and my parents never put that shit on my car. And I'm pissed off about that, seriously. It's like the whole carrot and the stick, the positive versus negative, it's like, it was all negative for me. It's like, if there's a bumper sticker for an Asian family, it's going to be, my son got a B. He should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah.
It's the negativity over positivity. And so, I grew up speaking 2 languages, and I like to say that English is my second language when I tell a bad joke. And a girl, I was actually on the phone talking to this woman, and I was trying to like get my license renewed or something like. I was trying to do something, and I kind of performed this kind of experiment where I asked this girl, hey, do I speak with like an Asian accent or an accent that do I speak with an accent? And she was like, you know, you do kind of a little bit. And I checked the area code, and it happened to be from South Tennessee. And so now I'm done with the Asian jokes, so I'll move on to the black ones. All right. Yeah, thanks. And these are very non-racist, kind of like, you know, we all get together and laugh jokes, not like, hey, you know, N-word, N-word, N-word. So, starting off this, you know how black people vote Democrat, right? I mean, I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat my whole life, and I just love the party. I think it's really great. But, like, before 2008, why would a black person be a Democrat? Right? It's like, hey, If you know the history, it's the Republicans who actually freed the slaves, right? Everyone know that? Yeah, so it's like the Democratic Party being black and voting Democrat is kind of like, it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm Asian, so, I mean, FDR put the Japanese Americans in camps, but I mean, I don't like the Japanese either, so I'm okay with that. But it's like a black person voting Democrat before Obama got elected. It's like, hey, the party's like, hey, you know, I used to beat my wife, but I stopped doing it 150 years ago. And another kind of another black joke I have one more is you got I was like so I moved into this place called Harvard Heights. It's mostly like Mexicans plus people from El Salvador. I'm like, you know, all of these people are probably illegal immigrants. But I'm not going to talk about it since I'm going to be put on a YouTube video and I won't be able to get a job for the rest of my life. And so these guys were like, so there's like this guy who's, I'm living mostly with black guys. It's the first time I've done that. And I walked into like the main room of the house, and there's like a door that leads to a room on the first floor and stairs that lead up to the second floor. And so there's this main room where you just have to go in to get anywhere in the house. And I'm sitting there kind of just like, you know, I'm actually writing code because like I'm a freelance software developer. And this black dude just comes in and starts like berating me and telling me about like, you know, it's an inconvenience that you're here, and like I have to walk past you all the time. And if he's going on this lecture about, hey, if you don't follow the rules, then society falls into anarchy. So there are house rules here. And I'm like, hey, I've only been fucking here for 2 days. Can you take it easy on me? I was like, hey, you know, I can order the coffee later, but I'm just waiting for my white friend. And another, okay, that's it for the black jokes. Let's move on to women, sex, and drugs. I'll start off with the women. So you know how they say that Asian women can't drive, right? It's old. It's been done for like the last, I don't know, 3,000 years. And so they say that like women in general can't drive. You know who else can't drive? Saudi Arabian women. Really, Saudi Arabian women couldn't drive, actually. I'm actually a little wrong. Let me correct that. The Saudi prince just allowed Saudi Arabian women to drive. He's like this kind of progressive Bernie Sanders guy with a bigger beard. And so he was telling, he just passed a law saying Saudi Arabian women could drive. And I thought that's like a huge victory for women's rights organizations and feminists and personal injury lawyers.
Sure.
And these women, it's kind of like a huge social experiment. Maybe you should kind of take it slow a little bit. And maybe the Saudi prince should have known that, hey, driverless cars are coming out in like a few weeks. You don't have to give women the right to actually drive. They can just be sitting in a car and getting to where they want to go, right? God, you have to, this guy doesn't keep up with the times. He calls himself progressive. And it's like, you know, Trump, I don't support Trump. I'm a Democrat, but maybe he should have included Saudi Arabia in that travel ban. Because next holiday season, when those Saudi Arabian women come here, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be like the zombie apocalypse, but the zombies have like this huge metal container around them. It's not going to be good. And it's like Trump. That's why I support President Trump now. It's like he knows that the Muslims are going to be a problem, and he's just picking on the wrong country. And so let's move on to the other women's jokes. Not about Saudi Arabian women, but women. It's like you have everything in society is like kind of a normally distributed bell curve. You've heard of it, right? Like there's really tall people, and there's a very few tall people, very few short people, and lots of people in the middle. it's like that with almost everything. It's like a biological law, right? There's funny people, there's people who aren't funny, everyone's kind of in the middle. But Latino women's body weight is kind of it just violates that law, right? Have you ever seen just like a normal Latina chick? Because I haven't. And I love Latina women, by the way, but it's just like, hey, it's like it's like a two-peak curve with like absolutely nothing in the middle. I don't know why that is. And so, I got only a minute left, so I gotta finish off with a dirty joke here. Actually, I just kind of gave it away, so let me do something else. So yeah, my friend who's like, he's not black, but let's presume that he is because it'll make the punchline better. And so he kind of grew up in a pretty bad neighborhood and heard a lot of stories about like his parents not being exactly like the typical middle class parent who's like, hey, go to school, stay clean, and don't do drugs. It's kind of like a just do whatever you want kind of thing. Mom and dad did a lot of shit when they were younger. And so this guy was like, when we were younger, I was like a totally straight edge kid, and this guy was always telling me to do all these drugs. He's like, hey, try this, try that. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But then he was trying to get me to do coke when I was like a junior high school student. And so finally, a few days ago, I did coke. But I just met up with these random people in Koreatown at this like really weird bar, and I just did a line of coke because I wanted to try it, and that was the only opportunity I was gonna get because I'm not gonna like look out for that shit or search it out. And so I told my friend, I was like, hey, I did coke, and he was like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, and I was like, hey, man. And we're both 27 years old. We grew up at the same high school, and I was like, hey, I'm 27 years late to the party. And that's my time.